Oh gosh, first I was gonna be good. Is investigating a secret $3 million settlement that longtime chief executive Vince McMahon agreed to pay to a departing employee with whom he allegedly had an affair, according to documents and people familiar with the board inquiry. The January 2022 separation agrees bars that now former employee who has hired as a paralegal in 2019 from discussing her relationship with Mr. McMahon are disparaging him, the people said. The board investigation, which began in April, has unearthed other older non-disclosure agreements involving claims by former female W employees of misconduct by Mr. McMahon and one of his top executives, John Laurinaitis, aka Johnny Ace, the head of talent relations at WWE. The people said the journal couldn't determine how many previous agreements were being scrutinized. The board outside counsel was still collecting information about the other NDAs this week, but has determined that the payments total in the millions of dollars, the people said. Wow. The board's 8 independent directors have retained New York-based law firms Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett to conduct the investigation. One of the people said, the board's primary findings are that Mr. McMahon used personal funds to pay the former female employees who signed the agreements, including the one involving alleged allegations against Mr. Laurinaitis, the person said. More broadly, the law firm is also assessing WWE's compliance and human resources programs and company culture, the person said. The WWE spokesman said the company, which runs the world's most famous wrestling business, is cooperating fully with the board inquiry, and the relationship with the ex-paralegal was consensual. He added that the company takes the allegations seriously and is dealing with them appropriately. Messer post that she was taking time to focus on her family, but that she planned to return. Though its stock is publicly traded, Mr. McMahon effectively controls the company. WWE's security files shows as he owns a majority of the company's Class B shares, giving him a majority of shareholders' voting power. The Class B shares have 10 times the voting power of Class A shares available to regular investors and are owned exclusively by Mr. McMahon, his family, and trust, benefiting individual family members in the findings show. The board members learned of the $3 million agreement in a series of anonymous emails that they received from someone who said the former WWE paralegal was a friend. The first email sent to board members on March 30th alleged that Mr. McMahon, 76 years old, initially hired a woman at the salaries of $100,000, but increased it to $200,000 after beginning this sexual relationship with her. The email to the board also alleged Mr. McMahon gave her like a toy to Mr. Laurinaitis. The board is investigating the allegations in the email. The people familiar with the inquiry said. Says right here, my friend was so scared she quit after Mr. McMahon and the lawyer Jerry paid her millions of dollars to shut up, an initial email to the board said, referring to Mr. McMahon's long-term lawyer, Mr. McDivitt, who negotiated the deal according to people familiar with the board inquiry. Mr. McDivitt, a Pittsburgh-based partner at law firm K.L. and Gates, represented the WWE and McMahon for decades. He defended them in 1990s against the federal charges of distributing and conspiring to distribute steroids to WWE wrestlers. A jury acquitted Mr. McMahon in WWE in 1994. WWE is partnering with the production company Blue Mouse to develop the United States versus Mr. Vince McMahon, a TV series about the steroid case. Directors received a copy of the $3 million agreement for one of Mr. McMahon's lawyers on June 12th. One person familiar with the inquiry said the non-disclosure agreement provided upfront payment of $1 million to the former employee, with the remaining $2 million to be doled out over a period of 5 years. People familiar with the deal said, the former employer, 41, had fallen on hard times before joining the company and spoke of needing extra money, said people who spoke with her while she worked at WWE. She said she had a law degree but had never taken the bar exam, telling colleagues that her career got sidetracked while she tended to a sick parent, they said. The former employee moved from the legal department in 2021 to become assistant to Mr. Laurinaitis, according to people familiar with the inquiry. Near the outset of the inquiry, lawyers of the independent directors asked WWE, Mr. McMahon, and Mr. Laurinaitis to turn over complaints or allegations about any relationships to the executive may have had with company employees, one of the people said. In recent days, the investigators learned that other non-disclosure agreements involving allegations against Mears, McMahon, and Laurinaitis, the person says. Mr. Laurinaitis, a former wrestler whose ring name was Johnny Ace, has been at WWE since 2001. Because, quite frankly, it's not really a surprise because looking what WWE has been, the storylines and how Vince McMahon handled stuff outside of the ring and his storylines and such. Handling Owen's death, the handling of a lot of things that just seemed, okay, there's some stuff wrong here, including some of those weird, crazy storylines in 1999, 2000, all that stuff. There's some weird stuff in storylines that just like this just really looks that Vince McMahon really is that type of person who would do that type of stuff. And there's allegedly, again, I gotta say allegedly, um, until this is 100% proven that this happened and he used money behind all this stuff. And if he did, well, I mean, this is pretty much I would say the end of the road, but it wouldn't. I mean, I don't know what will happen then because I don't think they're gonna really force him out. I mean, something that Kong get him. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how the structure would be. They could kick him out, but he has so much power. Um, I mean, they do want this looks like something that WWE does not like to make this the big. WWE is very cautious of what things are going to be big stories. And this right here, WWE does not want to be big stories and everything else, you know? And this could be something. Let me just right here. Yeah, it's a big deal. Um, Nick Khan's job is to pump up the sell. He's gonna sell WWE. That's what the whole big thing is. Nick Khan is gonna felicitate, a sale of WWE, and wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case. I mean that could be the case at this point, but who knows? I mean that's just the scuttlebutt, but story what's going on with the board of directors of WWE, Vince McMahon and Mr. Laurinaitis. That's what it's going. That's what's happening right now. And until we find out the 100% true story about what's going on, that in the main stuff, until we figure out what's going on, just stop sharing and go over here. Until we find out what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Until we figure out what's going on right here, nothing is, there's not going to be any type of, I don't, I mean, this should be where the main story is. This is going to be the main stuff. If Vince McMahon really went this far and such, this is the main story. So until we see more and more, like if this actually is true, Vince used his money to actually do this type of stuff. I mean, that probably will kick him out of the board or whatever. Until we if this is all true, if this is true, then I mean, what are you going to? I mean, what is the I mean, I mean, this will probably like at this point, Nick Khan will probably put some stuff there. He might be the new CEO, and I don't know what's going to happen in the stories or anything else. But I think it's secondary at this point. So, with this story, with this thing right here, this is the main story. This is the main thing. And until there's actually something, there's actually some real type of of some there's real meat. There's meat here, but I want if actually proof of this stuff is happening, 100% proof of this happening. And if it is true, at this point, at this point, well, it looks like Vinny Mac might, this might be big enough to basically sack Vince McMahon. I don't know, WWE might go down, but if Vince goes down though, by this way, if Vince goes down this, I don't know if WWE survives this. If Vince gets kicked out, I don't know if WWE is going to survive. That's my thing. And who knows what's going to happen? What's going to happen next week? I don't know. Until then, well, we're just going to be sitting here making, until there's actual proof. It looks like there's some stuff that's going on. This is going to be the biggest story right now over the summer for wrestling. That can change tomorrow. That can change an hour from now. Heck, it could change right here. Heck, while I'm tweeting, stuff happening right now. All right. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for me. Duke CT, thank you so much for watching, listening, and being here on the Duke CT Lounge. Duke CT here. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.